Origin stories. Everyone is interested in origin stories. Not entirely sure why this is. Maybe this could have something to do with being able to relate to someone if someone's origin story is similar to their own. Or perhaps it's actually just morbid curiosity. Sort of in the same way that everyone's super interested in superhero origins, because people just think to themselves, how the f did he turn out like this? What happened? Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Okay, so do you know what? For the story, as with all origin stories, as is the very premise of an origin story, let's start from the very beginning. In fact, wait. Just before I get to the juicy main event, let me just tell you guys about something that's super important. Turns out I have a Patreon to support this. And if you guys would like to support me on Patreon, there is a link in the description, but as an added incentive, I have actually released a full cover of Legal Assassin, guitars, vocals, everything mixed released, and it's on Patreon, being released for May. So make sure you sign up ASAP, and it will be in there for you for May. So please go and check out Patreon, and anyone who is pledging enough to hear these cover songs that I do, you guys get to pitch other cover ideas, and I will randomly pick one, and I have a few in my head that I want to do, but pretty much I'll be asking patrons at the end of every month, like, what do you want me to sing? A full cover. So you'll get a full cover, you'll get the vocals, and you'll also get the instrumentals. So if you want to hear my Legal Assassin from the Repo the Genetic Opera, if you want to hear my cover, please sign up to Patreon. That'd be super awesome of you. And if you are on Patreon, I'll be asking you what cover you want me to do next. Let me just change this. Okay, on with the origin story. I guess it all started back when I was about 10. I was about 10 years old, and I kind of always had like a flair for wanting to look cool, I guess. I always liked the aesthetic of the bad guys in the cartoons and the movies I was watching, because they always used to wear black, sort of sleek outfits, and it was just, I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, I used to love the Tim Burton Batman movie because all the outfits were just so cool. But of course, at that age, your mother dresses you, and it's just like, hey mom, could you get me some like Criminal Damage and Poison Industry stuff, please? Thanks, Mom, thanks. Thanks, Mom. But I guess it really kicked in whenever I went to school and I discovered metal. So metal came out, well, metalcore, modern American metalcore came out, which was like, you know, Trivium and Lamb of God and Bullet and Valentine, all them lot. Bullet aren't American, I know, don't leave a comment, I know. And weirdly, I want to say that it all started with Trivium. Trivium, the metal band Trivium got me into looking like this. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, Trivium, this, right? It was progression. That's why this video is however long it is. So when Trivium came out and hit the scene, I had only just started watching. Basically, my parents had like no money, and it took us a very long time to get Sky TV, or as you Americans know it, as just satellite. So we had like hundreds and hundreds of channels, and with these hundreds and hundreds of channels came rock and metal music channels that played music videos, which was extremely formative for me. And everyone, like, it was just so influential. Pretty much anything that came on that TV, and any video, it was like, that was going to be the soundtrack to our summer that year. So around this time you had like Bullet for Valentine, Trivium, but mainly it was like Mudvayne and System of a Down and Breaking Benjamin, all that sort of stuff. So I was exposed to a lot of like cool aesthetics, but no one really like tried. But Trivium, right? Trivium, here's the thing, Trivium used to wear eyeliner, and I was like, guys can do that? What? I was like, it looks cool. And they paint their nails black. Oh, that does look cool. And the natural desire for theatrics sort of took over. And I was the only guy in the entire school who would like actually put eyeliner on and wear black nail varnish. As you can imagine, that did not go down very well. Whenever my friends saw me wearing that stuff, it's weird. Do you know what? It is weird, because I have, allow me to set up this next example, because it's happened a few times. I've had completely straight friends, right? You know, just like, I don't mean like orientation wise, I just mean like completely normal people. And, you know, I've not worn makeup around them, and they're completely normal, completely happy, and they just operate like normal human beings. But I have then put on makeup and hung out with them, and it's kind of like trying to run a Mac program, like an Apple Mac program, on a PC, and the PC Windows software is just like, What? You can actually see sparks going off behind their eyes of their brains trying to put together exactly what it is that they're seeing. And I thought this was just one of my friends who saw me with eyeliner, and he couldn't wipe that stupid grin off his face, and he just didn't know how to react. Like, he didn't know how to act. It's like, it's just me, but with eyeliner on. Get over it. And I remember years later, but after I moved here, and this was years ago, back when I used to work for Apple, I had this completely normal boss, and we got on, and then, because I never used to wear makeup to work, right? But I showed him the Circus of Fear video that I stupidly removed from the internet, and of course in that I'm wearing contacts and makeup and stuff, but I showed him this video, and it was the exact same reaction. He looked at the screen, and do you know that, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's an image going around at the moment on Twitter, a picture, and nothing in it is identifiable, right? It's like a picture of stuff, but you can't make out what a single one of the things are. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen and you can look at it, but I can't look at this picture for too long without my brain actually physically hurting, because I can't understand what I'm seeing. And that was the same reaction. He had the exact same reaction, like these normal dudes, and they see another guy in makeup, and they just and they have no idea how to react. So yeah, it started with eyeliner. TLDR. So then let's fast forward through school, okay? Because I had no other references. There was Marilyn Manson, but I wasn't a big fan of Manson. I've never have been a big fan of Manson. I like Beautiful People, the new shit, and that's it. Oh, the Nobodies is pretty good. The Nobodies is pretty good. But I was never a huge fan of Manson. Weirdly. It's weird to think. You probably don't believe me, but I'm honestly not a huge... In fact, I have Manson on my Spotify. I have Manson on my Spotify playlists. But Kaya put it there. It's not mine. So let's fast forward to college, shall we? And I guess this is where you can really say that this is the origins of Freaky Jake. This Jake. What this Jake came from. The primordial goop that I evolved from. So I'm in college. I'm minding my own business. It's 2007, and I'm sitting next to my best friend at the time in college, and we're just looking at music videos because we're on Kerrang website, looking at all the new videos that have come out. I think that's what we were doing. May have just been YouTube. It's probably YouTube. In fact, YouTube had only been out for 2 years back then. Can you imagine? There was nothing on it. Nothing on it. There was nothing on it. So we're looking through music videos, and we're looking at references from Kerrang, because Kerrang magazine Kerrang, their online site, were just like, hey, all these new bands are coming out. They're doing all this stuff. Check these out. Check them out. Check that. Deer and Grey were on the Kerrang list. They were like, this brand new band, even though they weren't new. This band, this crazy Japanese band. Here is their new music video. Obscure. Play Obscure, just real quick. Just like a little, just so I don't get content. I just real quick show Obscure. I saw that. I had never seen anything like that in my life. And I was just like, I am in love. And for about a week, I thought Kyo was a chick, and I had a crush on her. I also called him Kaio, because I had no idea how to pronounce Japanese names at all. And that is where the obsession began. From this point on, I was, for all intents and purposes, a weeb. Unapologetically. I was like, whoa, okay, Deer and Grey, pretty cool. What else we got? And then there was like Dio Distraught Overlord, and then there was like Garugamesh, and then there was The Gazette, and there was so many awesome bands making really original sounding music, all looking really cool, and I was obsessed with it. It was so aggressive and so unique, and I was like, I need more. Why am I in this country? I want to be where this is. And the inspiration to dress crazy just exploded. I started wearing a lot of makeup, and I started wearing a lot of alternative clothing, and because I was forced to wear the westernized definition of extreme fashion, I wore like Poison Industries and Iron Fist, Criminal Damage. Who else were the old ones? There was a few, but I think they were the main ones. But I used to wear all that crazy stuff, and I was like the most extreme looking person, especially the guy. I was the most extreme looking guy, because I never met any guy who dressed even close to what I was doing. Not even close. They were weak. They were afraid. They were afraid of what the masses might think. I was not afraid. Intrepid. And was I bullied in college for it? Yeah, I was. And it was really open, weirdly, because, you know, I always assumed being in college people are a little more open-minded, but it turns out that wasn't the case. I came to college wearing like Stargazer white foundation with like black lips and stuff like that. And I remember there was a group of guys who I thought were my friends, literally just standing all in a group about 10 feet away, making fun of me out loud, you know, talking to each other out loud about how stupid they thought I looked. And I remember looking over and just be like, I'm standing right here, guys. And I can't remember what their reaction was, but like, if I could go back in time, obviously, like, I'd be throwing hands, but like, the reason why I barely reacted back then is because I was mainly just in shock that these people that I thought I knew as friends were just openly mocking me. I was like, are they just like having a laugh, or are they actually making fun? Now that I think back, there was more than just them who were actually taking the piss out of me, and back then I was just rolling with it. I was just laughing with it because I just wanted people to like me. Like I've already told you guys about that story of that Flash animator that animated me as some depressive emo that gets shot in the face by a guy who was a friend of mine at the time, and the whole class laughed, and I also had to laugh too, but inside it really hit. I've told you that story before. I can't find the animation. So yeah, the reason why I dress the way that I do is because of J-Rock, is because of the extreme aesthetic and the live out loud aspect of not only the music but also the way that they looked. And I was like, I just love the whole package. I love the extreme music and I love the extreme look. And you know, for the longest time, no one told me what goth music was. Like, I went so as far as I knew, okay, all the way through school, all the way through college, not one person ever mentioned anything about The Cure or Susie and the Banshees. My dad didn't listen to it, none of my friends listened to it, no one in college listened to it, no one listened to it, no one told me about it. I had no idea. No idea, right? And there was no such thing as Spotify for me to find this shit. So when I was walking around in my spiky chokers and my black trench coats and my new rock boots and my makeup and the black and green dreadlocks and the contact lenses, whenever I was walking around like that, people were just yelling goth at me, and they're goth, oh, goth. You know, you've heard that, right? And my friends would refer to me as such, and I was just like, okay, I guess that's what this is, you know? And that's just the label that I assumed. And then I moved over here, and then social media got bigger and bigger, and Tumblr came along, and then Tumblr was just like, this is what goth is. And I was like, what? That's not what I know it as. So to answer the other question where it's like, is this goth? Am I goth? The answer is yes, but actually no. I memed. I did a meme. I dated this video because memes don't last very long. So shit. I do wonder how far I would probably go with that, because, you know, it's hard to imagine what sort of situations one could possibly be in where that would be brought up, especially if it was going to be discussed at length. But whenever it comes to Instagram, which is almost exclusively a visual platform, as well as, you know, YouTube, when people are looking for an aesthetic, when people are looking for people who look like me, or looking for inspiration on how to spice up their looks, usually they search the word goth. Regardless of what the models in the photos may listen to, it still says #goth in the bottom, almost as if there are two aspects to the concept. But I'm not gonna get into that. So that's why I use, you know, #goth, and that's why I loosely refer to myself with that term. It's merely for the sake of discoverability. Though I would never make a video about, you know, how goth I am. Because honestly, as far as some people are concerned, I'm not. So if you're one of those people who are just like, you're not goth, you don't like Susie and the Banshees, what do you so to you, I'm not, and that's fine. I don't need to live up to your classification, right? That's fine. So if one of your ilk asked me if I was goth, I would say no, but other people would. And to them, I would say, yes, I am also. So when I say yes, but actually no, you know what I mean. It's like yes and no. Aspects of, but not fully. I can't go around saying I'm J-Rock. Or Visual K. If you say Visual K to anyone, they'll be like, Nanda You know, like when people are looking for goth clothes, they're not looking for items of clothing of various color, shapes, and design that are simply placed into a room where someone is playing The Cure for several hours before sending it out. No, people are mainly just looking for alternative style clothing. So goth, I guess, when it comes to fashion, is rather an ambiguous term. Can we agree? So for those of you who say I'm not goth, I agree. And for those of you who say I am goth, I agree. Now, doesn't that just piss you off? And just to set the record straight, I don't hate goth, because people like to take that quote, chop the context off it, and put it up into the internet and be like, see? But if you watch the video, I hate elitism. I hate metal elitism and goth elitism and gaming elitism and music. I hate elitism. We can agree elitism is bad. Elitism's bad, right? No one likes it. So if you're a goth out there and you're goth because you listen to the 80s stuff and you're rolling to that new wave and post-punk movement stuff and the trad goth look, you know, with like the backcomb black hair, that's awesome. That's really cool. And if you're out there and, you know, you're playing with the style, you're cyber goth or whatever, and you're playing with the styles and you listen to industrial and you're that kind of goth, then that's awesome too. But if you're the kind of person who tells other people that they are not what they associate with because of the ideals that you uphold about something, then f*** you. Let's stop being gatekeepers about this stuff. It must get very exhausting. So yeah, it's actually been a really fun trip through my life. It's been a fun trip. You know, Visual K, that was exciting. And it's been Visual K and nothing but. And it was metal before that. There was sort of like the spark. And as of right now, why do I look the way that I do right now? Why do I dress like this? Because this is slightly different to what I used to look like. It's actually a mix of a lot of stuff. In fact, the reason why I dress like this specifically, with the liquid latex and the paint and the eyes like this and the hair and it's actually all the things that I wanted to do during that 1 year that I was normal. See what I'm saying? Or 2 years that I was normal, because my style would have evolved like this anyway. I would have, you know, seen the liquid latex. I can't remember where I saw it, but I know I watched Caligo Bastet's video on how to apply it, and he applied it with a sponge and made no mess. And I was like, I'm just gonna use my hands and make a huge mess. And sure enough, I still have the stain on my rug from when I dropped the bottle. But as of, you know, the liquid latex and the paint, and it's all from Visual K. Like, I am still a huge fan of Deer and Grey. I still watch their live shows, and they've gone back to an extreme style, and I love it, you know. And he's covered in black, you know, he's got body paint all over, and he dyes his hair crazy colors, and he wears contact lenses still, and he had a grill in. I don't have enough money for a grill, so this is painted. It's quite convincing. You know, he did all that, and Kyo from Deer and Grey is my idol. Like, everything I do it for you. Sorry. I do because I see him do it, and he's such an influence on me, and I'm like, man, that's so cool, because he's always been so unique and so unapologetically out loud about himself. And not just about his look, but about his performance as an artist, as a live performer, and his lyrics as well. Like, he's just so cool. So yes, I've touched on several subjects here. Origins, clearing up some misunderstandings, and also who I continue to be inspired by. And inspiration is key. Inspiration is absolutely essential for the advancement of alternative styles. Experimenting and trying new things and seeing what works for you and what doesn't, and what might not work for you might work for someone else. I have seen a lot of you guys copying my style on Instagram and posting, you know, your looks, both actually trying to do the exact same looks, but also your own inspired looks. And I gotta say, it's awesome. You guys look awesome. You guys look great. It's flattering, but it's also fantastic to see people sort of reigniting their own passion for looking like this. Because it's like, I've said in a previous video, but it's fun, right? It's fun. It's fun doing this. It's exciting, you know? Like, I can't imagine being a normal person. In fact, I can't imagine being a normal person, because I was that normal person for 2 years, and it's boring, right? You don't have this excitement of like, what can I do? Or like, what accessories or what makeup can I play with? Or what contact lenses could I match with what color makeup and what palettes shall I get and what should I do with my hair. It's so fun and exciting and exhilarating and validating, liberating. So many ing words, I think you will all agree. And I don't know if it's just me. But I look through Instagram Discovery and I see a lot of people like putting black on their neck. I know I didn't start this, for the love of God. I know I didn't start this. There's a lot of people who did this before me. I'm not trying to take ownership of this, okay? If I see someone with a similar style to me, I'm not going to be like, they're copying me, because that's nuts. That's crazy. I've seen makeup trends that sort of take off and that I've been doing. I'm kind of like, I wonder if that's because of me. And if it is, that's really cool. So if any of you have been, you know, dying to try one of these looks, or even just trying to, or dying to just try one of your own looks, you know, like something that you would like to look like. Because I know there's a lot of really extreme styles out there, like my friend Creepy. Their style is insane. It's crazy, awesome, but it's not mine. Right? But maybe you want to look like that. But, you know, you're afraid, you know, because of judgment. I felt the spirit of Jeff Goldblum. I felt it, and I just channeled it for you. Sorry. Because fashion finds a way. But yes, I want to see, even if it's just in your room, I want to see you guys experiment with something that you've wanted to try, whether it's anything that I do or something that you've wanted to try, and I want you to post it on Instagram. Tag me or not, but just put it out there and see what people's reaction is, and I bet you mostly it will be positive. So thank you everyone for tuning in to my video. Please do not forget to check out my Patreon. I will be releasing covers every single month. Yes, every month, because they're not super hard for me to do, honestly, and that's not like a humble brag or a brag. It's just covers are easy because the music's already written. I literally just need to transcribe it into other instruments and make it heavier. So I will be releasing covers every month on my Patreon, $10 and up. And if you're in that Patreon, if you're in that band, that tier, then you get to suggest other covers, and I might just, you know, I might just take one of my own ideas. And you get to use it in your own videos or whatever it is that you want to use it for. Because I'll be releasing both one with vocals on it and also an instrumental without the vocals on it, so you can just use the music. So because people have been wondering why Kaya has been getting away with using copyrighted songs, it's because I redid it. I'm not going to release those, right, because she won't let me, but you can use these ones that I'm going to be making for my Patreon, and you can go ahead and you can do that. So anyone who's on my Patreon right now, feel free to suggest. Thank you everyone for watching. I actually had a great day today because I made it a great day because I am bringing MAG back in a slightly different format than what it has been for the past 4 years, and I'm currently working on it right now, and I'm very excited to release that. I'm very excited to see what you guys think. And we've sort of reshuffled my workload, and I've reshuffled how I'm going about creating content on some of the platforms that we do here, and now I've reshuffled it in a way that music is now one of my primary focuses along with this channel. So that's very exciting. Okay, goodbye everyone.